Welcome back to Chatterbox Podcast. If you tuned in last time, we tackled financial conversations at the bank, covering everything from opening an account to handling disputes. Super useful, right?
Oh, absolutely. And today, we're diving into another essential topic, talking about the weather like a native. Whether you're making small talk or discussing climate change, these phrases will come in handy.
Exactly. But first, let's be real. Weather talk is more than just words. It's part of everyday chit-chat. We all do it. I mean, just this morning, my neighbor caught me at the mailbox and said, "Can you believe this heat?" And I was like, I know, right? I feel like I'm melting.
Oh, totally. That's the classic icebreaker. Speaking of which, last week I ran into an old friend at the coffee shop, and the first thing out of my mouth was, "What's with this crazy wind?" He laughed and said, "I nearly got blown away walking here."
See? Weather talk is universal. It's the perfect go-to when you don't know what else to say. And today we're adding a twist. Every time one of us uses a native phrase, the other will jump in to explain it before we continue. That way, you'll fully understand and remember them.
Let's do it. Get ready to sound like a pro when talking about the weather.
Weather talk in daily conversations. All right, let's start with something simple. Imagine you're walking into work and someone says, "Gloomy day, isn't it?" How would you respond?
Oh, easy. You could say, "Yeah, it's pretty overcast. Hopefully the sun peeks through later."
Okay, let's pause. Overcast means the sky is completely covered in clouds, making it look gray and dull. And peeks through means the sun might come out a little, but not fully. Let's repeat. It's pretty overcast. Hopefully the sun peeks through later.
Great. Now let's say it's really cold outside. Someone might say, "It's freezing out there." How could you reply?
You could say, "Tell me about it. I'm bundled up like an Eskimo."
Hold on. "Tell me about it" is a way to agree with someone, meaning I totally understand. And bundled up means wearing a lot of warm clothes. Let's repeat. Tell me about it. I'm bundled up like an Eskimo.
Here's another one. Let's say it's really hot outside. Someone might say, "It's scorching today." What does that mean?
Good question. Scorching means extremely hot, almost unbearable. Let's repeat. It's scorching today.
And if someone says, "I'm sweating buckets," they mean they're sweating a lot. Repeat after me. I'm sweating buckets.
Advanced weather expressions.
All right, let's kick it up a notch. Suppose it's raining heavily. Instead of just saying, "It's raining a lot," you could say, "It's coming down in buckets."
Oh yeah, that's a classic. Coming down in buckets means it's raining so heavily it feels like water is being dumped from a bucket. It's like the heavens just opened up. Let's say it together. It's coming down in buckets.
And you can always add some drama with it, right? Like, "It's coming down in buckets. I forgot my umbrella." Ha! Or maybe, "I'm going to need a kayak to get to work."
Exactly. That'll definitely get a laugh. And if you want another fun way to say it, you could also say, "It's pouring cats and dogs."
That's an oldie but a goodie. It means it's raining heavily, but it's not as commonly used these days. The story behind it is kind of funny. Back in the day, there were so many stray cats and dogs in the streets that heavy rain would make it look like they were washed away. Yikes. Anyway, let's say it together. It's pouring cats and dogs.
Definitely brings a smile, right? But now, let's talk about strong winds. You might hear someone say, "It's blowing a gale out there." What does that mean?
Blowing a gale. Great one. A gale is a very strong, intense wind. So when it's blowing a gale, it's like the wind is practically knocking you over. Picture holding onto your hat for dear life.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be caught out in that without a solid umbrella, or at least a good pair of shoes. Let's say it together. It's blowing a gale out there.
And if you're out in that weather and it sounds spooky, you might hear someone say, "The wind is howling."
Right. The wind is so strong and loud, it sounds like it's literally howling, almost like it's a ghost. I love using that phrase when the wind is really making its presence known. Repeat after me. The wind is howling.
Yeah, and it's the kind of wind that gives you goosebumps, right? You can almost hear it whispering through the trees. Spooky stuff. But what if it's more than just a little wind? You might hear someone say, "There's a bit of a chill in the air."
That's a great one. A chill in the air means there's a noticeable coolness. Maybe like when you step outside in the fall and you can tell winter is coming soon. It's not freezing, but it's enough to make you zip up your jacket. Let's say it together. There's a bit of a chill in the air.
And if it's even colder, like your breath starts to freeze in the air, you might say, "It's nippy out there."
Oh, that's a good one. Nippy is a cute way to say it's cold, but not unbearable. It's that kind of cold that makes your nose turn red, but you can still handle it. Repeat after us. It's nippy out there.
Totally. Now let's get a little dramatic again. Have you ever been caught in what feels like the worst storm ever? Maybe someone says, "It's a real storm brewing."
Ah, a storm brewing. That's when you can feel that something big is about to happen. You know that kind of tension in the air before a storm? You might say this when you can tell the weather is changing and it's about to get wild. Let's repeat. It's a real storm brewing.
It's like when you're at a party and you can tell two people are about to have a big argument. You just know something's coming. Ha ha. Let's not get too dramatic, though, and wrap it up with another fun one.
Yeah, here's a good one for you. It's hot enough to fry an egg on the sidewalk.
Oh, I love that. That's when it's so hot outside, it feels like you could cook an egg right there on the pavement. It's definitely one of those phrases that makes people laugh and shake their heads. Let's say it together. It's hot enough to fry an egg on the sidewalk.
Well, let's hope it doesn't get that hot today, right? But anyway, now you're ready to talk about the weather like a pro.
Weather and climate discussion. All right, let's switch gears and talk about climate for a bit. If someone says, "The summers here are brutal," what do they mean?
Ah, that's a great phrase. Brutal in this context means extremely harsh or unbearable. So they're saying that the summers are so hot, they're almost unbearable. You're sweating. The sun's beating down on you. It's tough. Let's repeat. The summers here are brutal.
Definitely. And if you live in a place where the winters are ridiculously cold, you might hear someone say, "The winters here are unforgiving."
Ooh, unforgiving. That means the winters are so cold that they make life difficult. There's no mercy from the cold. It's like winter is giving you a tough time, and there's no end in sight. Let's repeat. The winters here are unforgiving.
Exactly. Now let's talk about those places where the weather is all over the place. If the weather keeps changing all the time, you might hear someone say, "If you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes."
Haha, that's one of my favorites. It means that the weather is so unpredictable and constantly changing that it's almost impossible to keep up with. You could have sun, rain, and wind all in one afternoon. Classic weather talk in places like London. Let's repeat. If you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes.
Oh, for sure. That saying always cracks me up because it's so true. But speaking of unpredictable weather, let's talk about some extreme stuff. What if someone says, "The heat wave is relentless"?
Ah, relentless. That's a strong one. It means the heat wave is going on for a long time and showing no signs of stopping. It's intense, non-stop heat, and you can't catch a break. Let's say it together. The heat wave is relentless.
Exactly. It's like when you step outside and you feel like you're walking into an oven. Yikes. Now, if there's a sudden drop in temperature, you might hear something like, "It's cold enough to freeze the tail off a brass monkey."
That's a funny one, isn't it? It's an old expression, but it means it's extremely cold. So cold that it feels like everything's freezing solid. It's a pretty visual way to say it's ridiculously cold outside. Let's repeat. It's cold enough to freeze the tail off a brass monkey.
Yep, definitely an image that sticks with you. And of course, you could add a little extra drama by saying, "I can't feel my face," after stepping out into that kind of cold.
True. That would really sell it. But speaking of extremes, let's talk about the reverse. When it's so hot that you feel like you might melt, you might hear, "It's like walking through soup out there."
Ooh, that's a good one. When it's that hot and humid, it feels like you're walking through thick, steamy air, like you're swimming through the air instead of walking. Let's repeat. It's like walking through soup out there.
And trust me, you don't want to be caught out in that kind of heat without a cold drink in hand.
Ha ha ha, for sure. All right, now that we've talked about some pretty wild weather, it's time for you to get out there and use these phrases. Whether you're talking about the heat wave, the unpredictable rain, or the freezing cold, you're now armed with the perfect expressions.
Exactly. Remember, it's all about making your conversations sound more natural and, dare I say, weatherproof.
Recap and wrap up.
Wow, we covered a lot today. Let's go over the key phrases again so they stick. Ready?
Here we go. Repeat after us.
It's pretty overcast. Hopefully the sun peeks through later. Tell me about it. I'm bundled up like an Eskimo. It's coming down in buckets. It's pouring cats and dogs. The wind is howling. It's blowing a gale out there. The summers here are brutal. The winters here are unforgiving. If you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes. The heat wave is relentless. It's cold enough to freeze the tail off a brass monkey.
Awesome job. Keep practicing. And next time, you'll sound like a natural when talking about the weather.
And let's talk about the other way.
Sure.
After you.
All right, let's kick this off with some really practical stuff. Talking about the weather. I mean, everyone does it, right? It's like the ultimate icebreaker.
Exactly. Weather chat isn't just small talk. It's one of the easiest ways to start a conversation. It's like a safe zone for everyone.
Totally. Like the other day on set, we were filming this big outdoor scene, and out of nowhere, boom, the heavens opened up. I looked at the director and said, "Well, there goes our sunny shoot." He just laughed and said, "Welcome to British weather. 4 seasons in one day."
Oh, that's classic. And it proves the point. Talking about the weather is universal.
For sure. So let's get practical. Imagine you're walking into work and someone says to you, "Gloomy day, isn't it?" What would you say back?
You could go with, "Yeah, it's pretty overcast. Hopefully the sun peeks through later."
Yes, let's break that down. Overcast means the sky's totally covered in clouds, super gray and dull, and peeks through. That's like, the sun might make a quick appearance, just teasing us. Let's try that phrase together. It's pretty overcast. Hopefully the sun peeks through later. Got it?
All right, let's mix it up. How about when it's freezing cold outside? Someone might say, "It's freezing out there." What could you reply?
Easy. Tell me about it. I'm bundled up like an Eskimo.
Hold on, let's explain that. Tell me about it is a way to agree, like, "Yes, I totally get it." And bundled up means you're wearing layers, like lots of warm clothes.
Right. Think puffy jacket, scarf, gloves, the whole deal. And just for fun, let's say it again together. Tell me about it. I'm bundled up like an Eskimo.
Great. Now let's flip it to the other extreme, when it's blazing hot. Someone might say, "It's scorching today."
Ooh, good one. Scorching means it's like stepping into an oven. Repeat after me. It's scorching today.
And if someone says, "I'm sweating buckets," it just means they're sweating a lot because, well, it's that hot.
Exactly. And that's such a fun one to say. I'm sweating buckets. So next time you're melting in summer heat, you've got the perfect response. Speaking of wild weather, what about when it's raining so hard you're not just wet? You're soaked to the bone? You could say, "It's coming down in buckets."
Or if you want to get really creative, you could go with, "It's pouring cats and dogs." That phrase always gets a laugh when people hear it for the first time.
Totally. And fun fact, did you know that phrase comes from a time when stray animals on rooftops got washed into the streets during heavy rain? Wild, right? But anyway, let's say it together. It's pouring cats and dogs.
And while we're on the topic of rain, here's another. If you forget your umbrella and you're stuck in that downpour, you could joke that you need a kayak just to get home.
Ha, relatable? Oh, and speaking of bad weather, this one's perfect. The other day, I was filming outdoors, right? And there was this crazy wind that shredded my umbrella. Like, totally destroyed it. So, naturally, I told everyone, "It's blowing a gale out here."
Ha, good one. Blowing a gale is such a vivid expression. And yeah, it's for those gusts that make you feel like you're about to take flight. Picture holding onto a lamppost for dear life.
Exactly. It's also the kind of wind that makes your hair look like it just lost a battle. Repeat after me. It's blowing a gale out here. Got it?
Here's another good one. When the wind is super loud, like almost spooky, you might hear someone say, "The wind is howling."
Oh, I love that one. It's like something straight out of a ghost story, right? You can almost hear the trees creaking and the shutters rattling. The wind is howling. Let's say it together.
Perfect. And that phrase works really well when you're describing like a cold winter night. Which reminds me, another one for cooler weather. Someone might say, "There's a bit of a chill in the air."
Ooh, I like that. It's more subtle, isn't it? Not freezing yet, but enough to make you hug your coat tighter. Let's try it. There's a bit of a chill in the air.
Right. And if it's colder, like nose turning red kind of cold, you could go with, "It's nippy out there."
That's such a cute way to say it's cold. I mean, nippy feels almost polite, doesn't it? like it's cold, but not threatening. Say it with us. It's nippy out there.
And if it's serious weather time, you might hear, there's a storm brewing. Now that one really sets the scene, like you can feel the tension in the air.
Yeah, it works for weather. Or, if your roommate left the fridge open again. Classic storm brewing moment. But seriously, let's repeat. There's a storm brewing.
And for those scorching summer days, you might get this gem. It's hot enough to fry an egg on the sidewalk.
Oh, that's definitely a favorite. Who doesn't love a visual like that? And it's so fun to say. Repeat it with us. It's hot enough to fry an egg on the sidewalk.
And that's why these phrases are so great. They take boring weather talk and make it, well, actually fun.
After all these fun weather expressions, here's one that always cracks me up. If you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes. Ever heard that one?
Oh, absolutely. That one's a Midwest classic. The weather there changes so fast, I'd go from wearing shorts in the morning to freezing in a jacket by noon. It's wild.
Wait, really? Shorts and a jacket on the same day? That's like outfit roulette.
Pretty much. And honestly, my students loved that phrase. Anytime the weather flipped out, someone would be like, well, wait 5 minutes. It'll change again.
Gotta love it. Let's break it down. This phrase is all about unpredictable weather. It means the weather changes so fast, it's better not to plan too far ahead. Say it with us. If you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes.
It's such a fun one, and honestly, a great icebreaker. But speaking of extreme weather, here's another for you. The summers here are brutal.
Ooh, good one. Brutal just makes it sound so harsh, right? Like you're baking in the sun, dripping sweat. It's summer at its worst. Repeat after us. The summers here are brutal.
And on the flip side, for those freezing winters, you might hear, it's cold enough to freeze the tail off a brass monkey.
Ha ha ha. That one never fails to crack me up. It's such a dramatic way to say it's insanely cold. But fun fact, no actual monkeys or metal tails were harmed. It's just an old saying. So let's try it together. It's cold enough to freeze the tail off a brass monkey.
Exactly. And it's one of those phrases that sticks with you because it's so vivid. But trust me, you won't forget it the next time you're shivering in your scarf.
100%. Honestly, these little weather idioms are like gems of the English language. They're quirky, memorable, and perfect for making your small talk less small.
Couldn't agree more. Whether it's chatting about unpredictable weather or griping about the heat, now you've got a whole arsenal of phrases.
Right? From it's coming down in buckets to I'm bundled up like an Eskimo. You're basically a weather chat ninja now.
Exactly. And on that note, I think we've covered all the weather bases today. What do you say? Time to wrap it up?
Yep, that's all for today. Practice these phrases, have fun with them, and honestly, don't forget to complain about the weather like a boss. It's tradition.
And with that, thanks for joining us on this weather adventure. We'll catch you next time. Stay dry or, stay cool, depending on your weather.
Bye for now, everyone.
Native recap. It's pretty overcast. Hopefully the sun peeks through later. Tell me about it. I'm bundled up like an Eskimo. It's coming down in buckets. It's pouring cats and dogs. The wind is howling. It's blowing a gale out there. The summers here are brutal. The winters here are unforgiving. If you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes. The heat wave is relentless. It's cold enough to freeze the tail off a brass monkey.
A storm to remember. I should have seen it coming. The morning started off overcast with thick gray clouds stretching across the Texas sky. I remember stepping outside, taking one look at the gloomy weather, and thinking, something's brewing. But did I check the forecast? Nope. I just hopped into my truck and headed out, blissfully unaware of the chaos that awaited me. By noon, the wind had picked up. I mean, it was blowing a gale out there. I nearly lost my hat walking into the store. Inside, people were talking about how the weather had been all over the place lately. One guy shook his head and said, if you don't like the weather in Texas, just wait 5 minutes. Everyone chuckled, but I should have taken it as a warning. The real trouble started when I left the store. The wind was howling, rattling the windows of my truck as I drove home. Then, boom! The heavens opened up. It wasn't just rain, it was coming down in buckets. Within minutes, the streets were flooding. I turned on my wipers, but they were no match for the downpour. Then, as if things weren't bad enough, my truck stalled. Right there in the middle of the road. I tried restarting it, but nothing. Meanwhile, the rain kept pouring. It was like walking through soup out there. I had no choice but to step outside. The moment I did, a gust of wind nearly knocked me off my feet. My clothes were drenched in seconds. I was sweating buckets 1 minute, then freezing my tail off like a brass monkey the next as the storm cooled everything down fast. Just when I thought things couldn't get worse, I saw it. A flash of lightning, followed by the loudest crack of thunder I'd ever heard. That's when I realized. I was standing next to a tree, a very tall tree. A storm was definitely brewing, and I was in the worst possible place. I bolted. Well, more like stumbled through the flooded street, my boots squelching with every step. By the time I reached a gas station for cover, I was shaking. An old-timer inside looked me up and down and chuckled. "Guess you got caught in the storm, huh?" he said. I let out a breath. "Yeah, it's pouring cats and dogs out there." He handed me a towel and a cup of coffee. "Welcome to Texas, son."